Okay, we have arrived. Welcome back to Vagrus the Riven Realms. We're going to reach Avernum after quite a difficult return from the area that we were before, somewhere around here, south of the Ophalat outpost. Let's enter the city right now. And again, some of the crew get into a fight. By the way, we are with no slaves at this point. We're going to calm them, enter the city, and pay the tax. Go to Avernum. In here we're going to... We can buy beasts. I will buy 4 of them. 2 of them, rather, because they're very expensive. And I don't know, beasts of burden. I can buy another beast of burden, which will allow us to bring much more. Oh, that was not a good idea. I'm going to stay with 1 because it is going to take all of our left money in here. We don't have slaves. I'm not going to buy slaves. I'm going to buy more fighters. That's the thing that we need. 14 fighters is going to make a very, very good they are going to make for a very good Comitatus. And here we can go to buy scrap metal if it's possible. The scrap metal that we left here, no scrap metal, they just sold them, sadly. Now the awnings reduce the consumption for workers and slaves. I don't know if it's possible to do it, to buy it again. Oh, it's possible, but we just need 1. So selling it again, and we just lost money. This is what we are transporting to Davin at the end of the day. It's not too much. And finally, what we need is to get out from here, but getting a lot of supplies. So let's go and bring all of the supplies that we could bring. 6 days. That's it. So let's get out. And now we are going to wait in here. Pay later. And now we go back into the wasteland. 7 days. Let's push forward here. About an hour after the Comitatus settles down, a terrible shriek pierces the night. Many of your crew jump out of the bedrolls, weapons drawn, but the howl is distant enough not to be an immediate threat. People are about to return to bed when another scream is heard. Then another one and another one. It goes on for hours, and the originator seems to wander around the camp, always out of sight under the cover of darkness. A group of guards eventually set out in a bad mood to find the source of the howls and kill it or scare it away. After hours of the bone-chilling screams, the howler disappears. Not a lot of the crew manages to get a good night's sleep. I have found that it is going to be very, very useful to get a lot of soldiers. Let's move down here. I don't know why I'm paying double, but we need to wait. Okay, 2 days. 2 days of supplies. Your crew grumbles. It is not a rare thing, as there is always a reason to grumble. Just keep in mind that we're advancing here. Now, we gotta go. Oh, yeah, we gotta go north in this moment. The Comitatus has seen better days. We lost movement. 0 days of let's send scouts. Failed. We still have to push north. I don't know if we're going to make it.
No, wait.
So, we still have plenty of people here. Let's use this. Now I don't know. This is going to be very, very drastic if we use that, but let's continue here. I just want to reach here fast as possible. No supplies at this point. We got some.
No, wait.
This is what we're going to do. There's nothing else we can do. We kill all of them. So we have at least 1 day.
I was just
Okay, let's find out what we can do here. I think we can go up in here, I think. Yeah, I think it's possible to do this. There we are. Is it here? So it's here. We found it.
I only heard later what happened afterwards, as I had left the night before. Call me a coward, good master, but I felt the inevitable coming, and I did not want to challenge fate. What I gleaned from the hazy accounts of the very few survivors, much later, kept convincing me that it was the right choice.
Okay. Right there on the horizon, sitting among black sand dunes and protected by gray. This is the... Are those the pilgrims? Jack Rock Formation and primitive fortification is the last camp of the abolitionist outlaws. I don't think this is exactly what we're being described in here. A few campfires can be seen here and there, but there's no telling how many of the bandits there are. At any rate, the whole area looks eerily quiet. It is perceptibly colder here, with the chill wind blowing from the twilight northern skies. Even deserts and wastelands have some life, but here, on the edge of the dread arena's Negress, absolutely no life can take root. You could swear that a pale bluish glow seems to be emanating just over the horizon, barely visible. The Zergorodites are already working up a rage for the attack. What about the Comitatus? Approach the camp information. They've been expecting you. They've been preparing for this. Just as your attack force reaches the defensive perimeter of their camp, the trap is sprung. From behind cover, out of hiding holes, even from under the sand, they emerge with a fierce war cry all at once, faces contorted in anger, rushing right at you from both flanks. You have just enough time to give orders to your fighters before the melee commences. There's a lot of the enemies, but you manage to fend off the first push. You look around and see a group of mounted marauders riding in from the west, picking off Zergorodites one at a time before circling back for another pass. Something has to be done to stop them, otherwise they'll break your flank, and that'll be the end of it. Try to use the terrain or send more wind. Gonna use the terrain. The marauders are dealt with eventually, but there are no time to celebrate. Reinforcements in the form of those and abolitionists are advancing from the east while the Zergorodites are occupied fighting in the vanguard. Someone has to grab a few fighters and lead a counterattack. Lead the counterattack yourself. Send Morwin. Send Javik. Send Sedarius. The abolitionists fall one by one under the counterattack, but not before causing considerable damage. You wipe sweat from your face and blood from your sword. An alarmed cry draws your attention. A group of the enemy manage to break through your front line and are descending upon you and your companions. Sidarius tackles one, steps him one on the ground, and shouts at you and Javik. To me, fight Hun! Okay, that's the last battle. What was that supposed to mean? Are you kidding me? What is that supposed to mean? He always misses that. Are we killing that motherfucker? Eventually, the last of your enemies goes down. Finally, we have finished this nightmare. Yet things are not looking good. Although the abolitionists suffer great losses, a lot of the Sergoridites also fell in battle. You are not sure you'll make it out of this alive. Suddenly, a fighter cries out next to you and collapses with a bone arrow through his throat. Looking up, you see an archer who is sniping your crew from a vantage point. That's the freaking archer. If left unchecked, she'll cause a lot of problems. Sending Morwen. I will send Sedarius. The sharpshooter is taken care of soon, but by then, the majority of your forces and the Sergoridites have been wiped out in the melee. There seems to be no end to the enemy's numbers and their ferocity. The wounded and the dying cover the hillside, their blood seeping into the dark sand. With such thinned outlines, you will not be able to hold out for much longer. You need reinforcements, or else the battle will surely turn out for the worse. The three brothers rush to your aid, make everyone else fight. There's no other choice. Let's do this one. The 7 workers. I think the 3 brothers. The battle is coming to an end. Most of the fighters on both sides are either dead or wounded. You try to make the best of the situation. All your choices led to this moment. We lost 8 fighters, and against an enemy force that outnumber yours 3-1, in the face of an ambush fighting from a disadvantaged position, you still manage to turn the tide of battle. The abolitionists fall one after the other, and the victory is imminent. But at what cost? At what cost? All that remains is the leader, the archer woman who slipped the Black Knight's grasp back in Avernum. A sense of trepidation takes hold of you all of a sudden, and you charge your remaining foes at the center of the camp, followed closely by Sedarius, Javik, and Morwen. Only a few abolitionists stand between you and the tainted archer. And I just... Oof. Oh my god. In the city, you know? Now do whatever you have to do, you motherfucker. No matter how bravely you and your crew fought, something went wrong. Everyone is falling around you. It's clear that the battle is lost. The abolitionists won't be able to recover from this either. You're about to give your orders to fall back to the rest of your fighters when an arrow hits you in the stomach. Okay, here's what we need to do. We enter here again, pay the tax again. We talk with the slaves and to the slave market. You sell them. Not too much coins. And then we visit Lavinius, deliver Covius. Judith's corner know that you have Covius tied up and gagged hidden in one of your cars back in the Manzio. The kingpin eyes light up as he slaps your shoulder. That's my friend the Vagrus. I knew you were the man for the job. He sent some of his men to pick Covius, and then I promised to match the bounty and give you something more. You can take your pick. Take the bale of buckwheat. Take the horn of a demon. Beautiful decorated scabbard. It used to belong to an ancient warrior. Let's take this one, the demon horn. Ask him if he can lend some muscle. So you plan doing something reckless? But what do you need me for? Okay, now.
I only heard later what happened afterwards, as I had left the night before. Call me a coward, good master, but I felt the inevitable coming, and I did not want to challenge fate. What I gleaned from the hazy accounts of the very few survivors much later kept convincing me that it was the right choice.
So here's where we meet them again. So approach the camp information. I'm going to do this one here. Success. Sedarius is going to be sent to the counterattack. Double hit, which is fantastic. So basically, we gotta learn how to position the characters. So yeah. Send Morwen instead. This time. The three brothers. That critical was disgusting. Come on, we can do it. That's the freaking archer, isn't it? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me now? Oh god, there we go. Your fighters grab limp from the archer and bind her hands behind her back. She's alive but badly hurt and unconscious. An uncomfortable silence settles on the encampment, only disturbed by the constant hissing of the cold wind and the occasional moaning of the wounded. The abolitionists are utterly defeated. The 2,000 survivors of their fighting force are gathered into a group and guarded by your people. However, only 2 Sergorodytes remain of their whole cohort. Not counting Zedarius, one of them, a priest, is patching up Zedarius with bandages and ointments. A few minutes pass as you gauge your losses and recognize your crew. In that time, 2,000 slaves are dragged out of their hiding places children, elderly people, previously wounded, all of them. The Sergorodites are eyeing them malevolently. Javik and Morwing walk up to you to report when someone calls to him from nearby. It takes you both a few seconds to realize it was one of the captives, an older woman with a dusky skin and a long mane of grey dreadlocks. Javik takes a step towards her, mouth open in astonishment. Skethma, he asks. The woman smiles and nods, blood sweeping from the ugly gaping wound on her stomach. Javik collapses onto his knees next to her. The woman softly strokes his face. Stay at Javik's side and listen to them to talk. The woman is clearly dying. Javik takes her hand and strokes her hair. How? Why? He manages with great effort. Doesn't matter now, Parvis. Her voice is weak but smooth as silk. I am so sorry that it took me such a long time to do what's right. I should have listened to you. Javik shakes his head, unable to speak. Farewell, she whispers and dies quietly. Javik stays there, holding the woman's hand, muttering to himself. Sedarius arrives. Sedarius throws a brief, appalled glance towards Javik. That woman there, the one whose corpse your friend is cuddling, was their leader, not the archer. Ah, well, that mutant has to do. The knight says, and when you turn to him, he adds, we'll have to show something for our efforts back in Avernum to the public. They love executions. Besides, we might be able to interrogate her and learn more of these damn traitor networks of the slave lovers. Ask him about the rest of the captives, and he shrugs. There are too many for us to guard, let alone travel with or feed. We might not take them, he says casually, but you know what he insinuates. The sun goes down behind the dark horizon. You are bone-tied. As soon as the Comitatus arrives, you set up camp. Eventually, you and your crew settle down for the night. Let us talk with him. Let's ask Javik about the woman who died in his arms. Javik is silent for a while. You can see the signs of his inner struggle about whether or not he should share this story with you. Eventually, one side claims victory. Her name was Sekethma. She used to be a Vagrus. I worked for her, Comitatus, some 10 years ago. He rubs the back of his neck. I was barely out of chains when she found me and took me in. She was a friend, boss. Nah, more than a friend. She was like family. Wait for him to go on. And I never had a family, see? Not really. Sekethma's leadership was more akin to the care of a strict but loving mother. Javik sighs, looking into a nearby campfire, dancing flames. But it could not last, unfortunately. Things happen. Things always happen. Another silence, and then Javik continues. Sekethma took on a job that all but destroyed her Comitatus. Some of the deaths I could not handle. I blamed her. I blamed myself. I left her just when she needed me the most. He looks up at you. I've tried to be better since then, but I never quite forgot about that horrible time. I assume she retired afterwards because I've never heard any news of her rebuilding the Comitatus and wandering the continent ever since. But it's all clear now. Moved by what happened to the downtrodden and the enslaved back then, she must have become involved with abolitionists and ended up. He looks over at the place where the corpses are piled. Here, he pauses. All this year, all these years, she's been doing exactly what I had accused her of avoiding. I should have been doing, but never did. And now, her work is undone. Pat him on the shoulder and tell him that she is at peace now, and she has probably helped many poor souls. Thanks, boss. But I don't know what to believe now. When people like this knight can undo so much goodwill with their casual cruelty. He shakes his head. Anyway, I have to think about this, don't mind me, and thank you for everything. He rises and walks off towards the tents. Now let's talk with this punk. Ask what he thinks of the Comitatus. What I think of this sorry bunch, one does not have to possess the clairvoyance of Sergorod to see how your little band is made up of rejects and misfits. I suppose not all of your business ventures are completely legitimate either. You look pale, Vagrus, said Darius, sports an evil green, but fret not. You have been of good service to me, and I shall overlook such trespass for the good of the Empire. Okay, let's go to sleep. Paying now. Eating good. That's it. Perhaps sending these guys to scout a little bit. You wake to the sound of agitated shouting. Looking up makes it clear it's still hours before dawn. Dark streaks of sky are visible through black clouds. The cold wind makes you shiver. Clambering to your feet, you trudge towards the commotion. Apparently, Sedaris is arguing with Morwyn, surrounded by the grim-faced two surviving Sergorodites and your remaining fighters. Where is he? Where did he take her? The knight demands, pointing a finger at Morwyn's chest. The scout remains calm and does not budge. I told you already. I do not know. But if you do not hold me up with, she cannot finish because Sedaria sees you and immediately comes at you shouting. Are you the architect of this travesty? Where's that damn sorcerer? Where is he hiding? You raise your hands and ask what in Tartaris he's talking about. Javik was removed from your Comitatus and Sedaris was removed from your Comitatus. A wandering old man leaves your Comitatus. And you lose 3 workers. Morwyn moves to your side. Javik is gone, Vagrus. She states matter-of-factly. He's taken the archer with him. Some others have also disappeared, but it's unclear if they went with them or their separate ways. He's taken my prize, the afflicted bastard, said Darius spits. We have to catch him. I'll personally deal with the damned mage. Order your men to set out right now. There's a moment of silence as your crew are giving each other confused looks. At length, Morwyn speaks. We can't travel with so many captives and so few warriors. No chance of catching up to Javik at any rate. Then we get rid of them. Sedaria's voice is ice cold. Vagrus, have your men execute the captives at once. Some of your crew gasp audibly. You see a lot of angry faces. Others are already going towards the slaves. Defy the Black Knight. No, you tell Sedarius, who looks like someone who swallowed a venomous frog. Enough. Go after them if you want them so much, but I have a Comitatus to run. As you wish, he says, drawing his blade. I hereby sentence you to death for betraying the Empire. After all we have done, the motherfucker. Morwyn leaps to your side. The wounded executor immediately attacks your guardsman. Okay, after all we have done, this motherfucker. Okay, we can do the sap thing here. Finally, Sidarius falls to the sand like a great metal statue. He's not dead, however, unlike his men, standing over his armored form, you recall all that you've learned of his order and of Sergoroth, of all that he's told you. A profound weakness overwhelms you. You know that killing the knight will probably curse you, and thus none of your people will dare to touch him. But then you are struck by inspiration. You give the order and see the faces of your comrades light up. In a quarter of an hour, just as the pale sun is about to rise, your crew has finished burying Sedarius. Encased in black sand up to his neck, only his helmeted head remained visible. By the time he comes to, you and the Comitatus are already on your way. The obscenities he's screaming can still be heard for a while, though. You take what's left of your Comitatus and head towards Ash. So, that is what happens. And now we are approaching Ash in 2 to 3 days. We have 5 days of supplies here, so we can still march. A mild dust storm hits quite unexpectedly. The Comitatus slows down and visibly is really bad, but otherwise it's nothing to worry about. You're pleased to see everyone doing what they are supposed to. You are too busy brooding over what's happened anyway. So many left were lost or killed. It's even possible to recover from this. At least you have the cargo, and perhaps now you'll be able to deliver it. What was that? One of the scouts of the left points northward. You only see dust. There is something coming from the north, barely perceptible over the howling wind. Head stern now. It's coming from the south. Your blood freezes. It's chanting, monotonous, horrid, inhuman chanting. The line comes to a halt. It can't be. Morwen looks at you, panic mounting in her gaze. All around the Comitatus, eerie lights appear dancing through the dust storm. You can see figures now in the light, terrifying skeletal figures emanating an evil glow. Ragged robes rustle. Coals half hide decayed faces. All the faded religious paraphernalia hanging from these sad corpses can't make up for the fact that they've been dead for a millennium. Only a moment later, they are close by, headed for the crew, headed for you. There's nowhere to run. They are everywhere. The light coming from inside them gets more potent, blinding you, burning you. You know that this time they've come for you all. Oh my god. Okay, so now we're fighting the pilgrims, I think. What is the meaning of this? The last of your crew falls burned to crisp by the horrid light. They surround you. One of them reaches towards you with a skeletal hand and with what you can't describe as anything else than a cruel grin. There's a flash of light, and for a moment you see something. A city by the sea. An amazing colossal ziggurat of dark stone that discharges a pillar of pale light into the sky, then seas boil and the land burns. You can smell it. Sweet, sweet conflagration.
I was among the few that survived that encounter with the pilgrims, but only because I wasn't there. I fled the night before, making my way to the town of Ash alone. I was feverish with terror, but at least I escaped with my life. Not a pretty story, eh? Yet it speaks so well of this land and the damned souls that journey through its forsaken reaches. Just like you, for that matter. Tell me, have you been long at it, good master? And where do you come from? It is not often that I can talk to one of your kind.
And thus, a new Vagrus is born.